I'm giving up on snakes now. I'm a goat guy. Goat herder, goat king. Maybe not. It's back to snakes it is. Well, not back to snakes just yet. Maybe I'm the emu guy. Look at this dinosaur. Now I got a question for y'all. Are birds reptiles? Let me know in the comments. Now enough of that randomness. Today's video is actually on timber rattlesnake, Crotalus horridus. Now, canebrake, timber, both the same snake, just different common names. Canebrake rattlesnake was subspecies of the timber rattlesnake, but now canebrake and timber, they're just one species, Crotalus horridus. Now, what about this iconic snake? Now, we've talked about many different things. I've even done a video specifically on the timber rattlesnake, but we're focusing on venom and bite. So we've mentioned many times how venom can vary depending on location, depending on the prey they eat in that environment. There's lots of different factors, but the timber rattlesnake has about 4 different venom compositions, some with neurotoxic and hemotoxic, some primarily neurotoxic, some just hemotoxic. So there's variation. And yeah, but today we're going to be talking about a bite. Interviewing and talking with somebody that was bitten by a timber rattlesnake. We're going to talk about what led up to the bite, how the bite happened, the outcome, maybe some, like, looking back, things they would do differently, and whatever else I think of on the spot. Does that sound good? But let's go chat. All right. Love y'all. Subscribe if you're new, and see you in a bit. So not only can their venom vary, but their pattern and coloration can vary too. This is the tannish phase of the timber rattlesnake. They can be more yellowish, even more light colored, but they can also be black, dark like this one, even much darker where you can't even really see a pattern. Now personally, I think the black ones are the most beautiful, incredible. I've never personally found a black one in the wild, although they are around here. I've had relocation calls with some darker phase coloration like this, but never personally found one. But then when we talk about the canebrake rattlesnake, even though it's the same species, there is slight variation in the pattern and color. This would be considered a canebrake. Even though it's difficult to tell here, they're mostly brownish, tannish, but even have pinkish and slight difference in the pattern, the chevron pattern. Hey Jesse, check this out. So this is my friend Jesse. He was bitten by a timber rattlesnake. That's what we're going to talk about. But we're going to talk about even what led up to it, after, whatever comes to mind. But talking about before the bite even happened, what was going on?
So I was cleaning the enclosure. I had taken her out, put her into a container, and then I was finished cleaning, so I was putting her back.
So you're done cleaning, you're putting her back?
Yeah.
All right, so when you're getting her out, was she rattling? Any nervousness?
The snake in particular was very nervous. Around me, around other people, so very nervous.
All right, so you're putting her back.
Yeah.
And that's why we have this here. So we're gonna get demonstration too. So what's going on? You're putting her back.
Yeah.
The situation.
So I had the hook like this, but I let a little bit too much come down across the hook, and then I didn't have a good grip, and I wasn't really paying attention. I was more focused on looking at the snake instead of paying attention to what the snake was doing up in the front. I was looking at the rattle, and I went to move my hand, and when I did, that triggered the bite. The snake came around and slipped up over
This
the
way?
hook. Yeah, it came around that way and caught me in the index finger.
Was it a bite and release?
Yeah, it was a bite and release. I pulled my hand back.
Letting go of the tail?
Yeah. So when she got me, I kind of went like that. Still had her like this, and then put her into the enclosure like that. But she wasn't flailing around, so it was really easy to just get her back into the enclosure, and I didn't suffer another bite.
Yeah. See, I don't know if out here the audio is great, but he's saying he is holding and focusing on just the snake, not really paying attention to what's going on up here, but the snake was a little bit over, and then he readjusted, and that's when she bit and released. And you know, we talk about the repetitive touch a lot. You think that's what caused it though?
Yeah, I think that's what triggered it. The moving the hand up, it kind of creeped her out. She didn't like that.
Yeah. Now, what was going through your mind, that initial? Was it that, you know, where your heart drops in your stomach?
Yeah, butterflies. I remember it was like a rush in the head. It was a crazy feeling. The connection that it makes is also a weird feeling.
Did you feel it?
Yeah,
Was it
yeah.
painful?
Yeah, it wasn't really painful at first. It was more of like shock. The pain came later when I realized what happened.
And she bit, release, you put the snake away, and then what?
So initially, I called you.
Yeah. Hey,
I'll try.
hang on a second. I'm gonna turn this off because these sirens are going crazy. Sorry about that. These sirens have been going off for like the past half hour. But anyways, you put her back, sealed up everything.
Right.
But actually, I'm glad I remember this. Were you remaining calm or were you panicking?
No, I wasn't really panicking. It was one of those things I knew I had to act quickly, but I wasn't really panicking. My heart rate didn't really get up that high. I wasn't really that freaked out by it.
So remaining calm is very important. At this point, you have the snake contained, and then what?
Yeah, so I started heading to the hospital. I called you. You told me a few things that I should do. I got there. I told them everything that had happened. They started freaking out, sent me straight back, hooked me up to a oxygen machine and a blood pressure machine, and then they told me they were going to hook me up to a line, and that's essentially like an IV that they can give you the anti-venom through. And I told them that it wasn't necessary, that I felt it was a dry bite. I was just there in case anything did transpire out of it. And the doctor came in, looked at it, told me that there was basically nothing wrong, and then they put down that they treated me for a puncture wound, not a rattlesnake bite, so I'm assuming they just didn't believe me.
So it was a dry bite?
Yeah, it was a dry bite. There was a little bit of bruising, but I think that was just tissue from where the fangs had went in.
Dry bite. So we talk about many times snakes will sometimes dry bite, which, because they don't want to waste their venom. Venom's for prey, and that's great. That was a dry bite. So looking back on it, what's something you'd do different?
Definitely wouldn't reposition my hand like that. I would keep it the same or try to do something different there. And I would make sure that the head, that's what I do now, I make sure that the head stays, well away from my hands to where they can't pull the hook back.
Because you were talking about you had a lot slack like this.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
so you would have probably made sure that
it was about like that, yeah.
Well, Jesse, I think that's probably all. Thank you for sharing your experience with us.
No worries. Thank you for allowing me to.
I hope you guys enjoyed hearing Jesse's story. Thankfully, it was a dry bite, and everything's good. But yeah, subscribe if you're new. I'll be back soon. like, share, all that stuff. And big shout out to my channel members. All right, so remaining calm is very important. At this point, you've secured the snake, then what?
So I started heading to the hospital and see your mom.
Alright. So, remaining calm is very important. At this point, you've contained the snake, and then what?
So I started heading to the hospital. I called you. You told me a few things that I should do. And then when I got there, I told them everything.